Ajnanatimandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with a shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 10, entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. Text number 25. So yeah, we're continuing our reading of different energies or opulences of Krishna by which we can remember him in this world. Because like we've been saying, you know, when in the beginning we can't see Krishna playing a flute, he's not going to appear like that in front of us. So how are we going to remember him? So we can remember him by his different energies. And like the example I gave, so just like if you can't see the sun in the sky, it's behind a cloud or something, but you know it's there if you can see the sunlight, which we can, like that. So by the heat and the light, we can know that the sun is there, even though we can't see the sun. Yeah, like put up your hand if you can see the soul. We can't, right? But how do you know there is a soul? Like people say, well, how do you know there's a soul? So what would you say? And someone asks you, how do you know there's a soul?
Well, the thing is, when
I'm alive.
When the doctor pronounced this body is a dead body, so what was in that body left?
Yeah.
That doctor pronounced this body is a dead body.
Yeah.
Things is left is soul. That's why a dead body.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fact that there's a life force, that's a sign that there's a soul there. Because as you know, matter or chemicals doesn't have any life. There's no life in matter. Like we use the word, right? Dead matter. Everyone says that. That's just dead matter. So where does the life come from? You know? So it appears that this dead matter is alive. How come? Actually, the body is dead, but it's because the soul is inside it that appears to be alive. Like this jacket I just put on is dead, right? But now the jacket's moving.
It's alive.
Because there's a soul inside, you know. So it looks like the jacket's alive. But everyone knows the jacket's not alive because there's a living person inside. But even this skin, this body of skin is not alive. The bones and the skin and the blood and everything. So that's not alive either. It's the soul that's moving all this bag of bones and flesh and blood and everything like that is being moved around by the soul. Like that. Actually, ultimately by the super soul. Even the soul's not moving it, but the soul is desiring, and Krishna is fulfilling the desires of the soul. So Gulshan desired to see Angkor Wat. So the super soul arranged that he could put his bum on the bicycle and turn the what do you call it, the pedals and direct the handlebars. So Krishna's
super soul is so much helping there. I booked that my hotel of Vietnam in Thailand, and when I come to Thailand, I book a bus from Thailand to Cambodia, and I did not know that. And then I asked that a bus driver, like bus company, where, and they said, well, this is the map here, that's where you can catch a bus. I said, okay, I'll see how do I get the public transport or something. And I find out there was only 100 meters from my hotel to the bus station. And then when I booked the two different timing, different countries, I was in Thailand and when I was in Australia. Wow. How come they happen? It's not happened once, it's been happened 3 times. Wow. Then Cambodia catching a bus as well is the same thing. And then I said, oh, okay, where is the hotel? Hotel I booked there when I was in Thailand. And then a bus I booked it there when I was here. And then I realized there's only 200 meters. But it's like how these things happen. I got no idea. Back in those days, I got no idea which bus company using, which way the bus is going, where is bus gonna get ended, and how do I get to the hotel? But no idea. But it comes out 300 meters. That's all. I was thinking I should have to catch a cab or asking public transport or something when the bus company to the hotel. I got no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
The cities are new for me, and I don't know where
Mm.
the bus gonna drop me and where is
Yeah.
that. But I booked a
Yeah,
few
and what's the chances of that? Because they're probably not small cities either. They're
yeah,
big
big city.
cities with
It could
big
be other
Very
population
big
and
and
everything like that.
crowded. Yeah.
and I was in the different timings. I booked it once. I booked it
Mm.
in Australia, then I booked it in Thailand, then I booked it in
Yeah.
Vietnam. Different timings, but they just comes out to be
It
2 or 3
all worked out. Mm.
walking
Yeah.
distance. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
How this happened?
So like that, we can just
And
see that there is some
that I'm
someone
poor,
intelligent and control of everything in the universe.
it is.
You know, the seasons are going at the same time, and
Yeah.
the plants are flowering, and they're giving different fragrances. Jasmine is giving one fragrance, rose
And
giving another fragrance.
so
You know, all these.
one thing happened there just the 3 days last week when I came from Cambodia, one city to another city. I booked a van. A van that took $12-13. It took a 6 hour. What happened after an hour and a half? Van stopped for toilet break or something. And then what happened there? They opened the bonnet, and then driver says something, and this went to the toilet. And then all the Cambodian people, I was the only foreigner, and he's speaking Korean language, and went to the toilet. And I was looking, what did he say? Then I talked to one guy. He looks reasonably decent. I said, look, what did he say that? He just says some Cambodian language, went to the toilet. I see the bonnet open. He said, oh, there's a problem to start in there. We might stay here a bit longer. I said, okay. So we 12:30, we stay there. After that, another van came. And that driver talked to my van driver. I don't know what they talk. And after that, the same guy came. He said, come on, hurry up. Get your stuff out of the van. I took my stuff out of the van and then put in the different van. And then that man and me and one lady. And then that van has only 3 spots. By the time the other 14 people came, we sit in there. And then he said that because that van can only take 3 people, so you can come. And then one lady came, and then we sit in the van, and then but the rest of the people wait there until the van fix. So how this thing happened? Because that guy, I talked to him, he's a lawyer.
Okay.
I talk in the van and said that I studied in America, that's why I speak good English and things like that. So how did I asked only that man, not any other person, 14 people. And that after 20 minutes, the van came and he quickly grabbed me. He said, grab your bag and sit in this van. I don't know what's happening, what's going on. It was on the highway. And I just sit and believe him and sit in there. And then in the van, he told me he's got only 3 spots. So I think you need to go to that. So I just pick you up. How this things happen.
After that, Gulshan, what did you say after that?
Thank you,
thank you.
Yes, thank you, Krishna. We have to remember to say thank you, Krishna.
Every day it's happening to me. I can see that. It's just surrounding. Krishna is there for me and helping me every single moment.
That reminds me, one time I was on my way from New Zealand to America to serve my guru, and somehow this particular flight took me via Tokyo, via Japan. And this was at the time after they had their massive earthquake, like over a decade ago, which caused the problem with their nuclear facility and all this kind of stuff leaking in the ocean and stuff. So anyway, there was still aftershocks going on when I landed. So I've landed there. There's massive hangars. The airport going from one place to another has got like massive like aircraft hangars. And with these conveyor belt things you just stand on and it takes you along. And I was like the only person in this whole hangar. Is like really scary because of course no one wants to go to Japan after the earthquake's happening and still going on. So there's hardly anyone there. Anyway, I went to the counter to get the flight to USA, and they looked at my things and everything, and they said, "Oh, you can't get on the plane. You don't have a return ticket. You haven't got here a return ticket. So how they know you're not going to overstay or whatever? So you can't get on the plane." I said, I need to get on this plane. I'm not going to stay here. And they said, talk to the people at your destination where you're going. But it was like midnight in USA. Everyone's asleep. I was ringing and there's no one answering the phone. Everyone's asleep. And this is before all the mobile phones and everything like that. So, so I couldn't contact anyone going forward. I said, "Come on, you got to let me out of here." No, no, you can't go. And so I was like freaking out. Krishna, Krishna, get me out of this way. Krishna, 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 save me. And this mysterious man came in. He just walked in behind the counter, and then he talked with all the ladies and the guys behind the counter, all the staff. And then one of the staff came to the counter and said to me, "You can get on the plane now." And the plane was just
Wow.
about to go. The
Krishna
plane was
himself
already
came.
stopped. They had already stopped taking on people. The plane was just about ready to go. And the lady said, "Hurry up, just get your stuff. You can get on the plane now." I don't know
Wow.
who that mysterious guy
That
was.
was
Krishna in
Krishna
disguise.
in disguise. Yeah,
And
for
I was really, "Thank
sure.
you, Krishna, thank you, Krishna, thank you, Krishna." After that,
Oh my
because what's the
God,
chance of
isn't
that?
that?
It was really weird. This mysterious guy just came in there, and I don't know what he
It's
said,
nice
and
here to
pulled
help.
the
Oh,
strings.
Ah,
Yeah.
that
So
is
yeah,
so
Krishna's behind the scenes. We have to learn.
totally.
This is what this chapter is about. Learning to see
yeah.
Krishna behind the scenes. You can't directly see him,
Mm.
but just by smelling the flower, we've got to learn to connect that and remember Krishna. You see a mountain like last week, 24 was 24 of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief priest Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. So even like when you see the ocean, you should remember Krishna. That this is Krishna's energy. This is non-different from Krishna, and you can't separate the energy of Krishna from Krishna, isn't it? You can't separate the energy of like. Can you separate the light from the sun? Can you separate the heat from the sun? Can you separate the light and heat from a fire? No, they're all together. It's all one package deal, as you say.
Mm.
So you can't separate. Like the soul in this body has energy. Like now the voice, the sound is coming out of the body, is the energy of the soul, like that. So but can you separate the sound coming out of the mouth from the person that's producing it? No, you can't. You can't have the voice without the person, and you can't have the person without a voice. You can't separate the source of the energy from the energy. It's all together. It's all together. So we've just got to learn to, like I've been saying, connect the dots. So that's what this chapter is helping us to connect the dots. And like I said, I think last week or the week before, so these are energies of Krishna, but this chapter is entitled the opulence. So why is it mentioning as opulence? Because what is opulence? We talked about six things. God, who is God? He has six opulences in full. What are the six opulences? He has all the beauty, all the strength, all the wealth, all the fame, all the renunciation, all the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So these are different opulences, something very beautiful, something very not like last week's one, right? It says of priests, I am Brihaspati. So of the six opulences that I just mentioned, which opulence is that? Of priests, I am Brihaspati. So what does a
It's
priest mean? Priest means what do they have?
knowledge.
They have
Knowledge,
knowledge.
isn't
Okay, so that's an opulence, right? That's one of the six opulences, jnana. This is something that's very attractive. Oh, what does opulence mean? Opulence means something that attracts us. If someone has a lot of knowledge, it's very attractive, like Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada was definitely having that opulence, so much knowledge. So it's very attractive, that and this another one of generals I am Kartikeya. So which of the six opulences is that?
strength.
Strength, yeah, he's a general. He's very strong. He's very powerful. So it's very attractive. Someone's very strong, very powerful, like that. It's very attractive, like
Mm.
that. So these, something else like a vast ocean. Maybe it's very beautiful. Maybe you can see it that as having that opulence. It's very, very beautiful like that. So different things here. Okay, so we'll recite the verse for today. 25.
Mm.
Maharisinam Brugoraham.
Maharsinam Purguraham.
Maharishi. Aha.
Yeah, I'll do that one again. Maharisinam Brugoraham.
Maharsinam Purguraham.
Giram asmyekam aksharam.
Graham asmi ekam aksharam.
Ram
Yananam japo yagnosmi.
Yananam japayadnosmi.
Stavaranam Himalaya.
Stavaranam Himalaya.
Okay. Deepa Mataji, you want to read the translation?
Mm-hmm.
Of the great
Of
sage,
the-
I am
Oh no, Gulshan's already got it.
That's okay. Yeah.
Go for it.
Go.
Yeah, it's okay. Whom you
Are
talking
you
to?
Yeah,
reading? You
read.
reading. You
I
started
can
to
tell
read.
Gulshan's
great-
very far away because there's a bit of a delay between. That's right.
Yeah. Of the great sage, I am the Pragu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of holy name Japa. And
Mm,
of immovable things, that I am the Himalayas.
mm.
Hmm.
So, Brugu, who's Brugu? So, Lord Brahma, in the beginning of the universe, after he was created from the navel of Vishnu, I can see behind Gulshan's head there's a lotus. So Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus flower that came from the navel of Garbhodakashai Vishnu. Therefore, he was called, that Vishnu is called, one name is called Padmanabha. You can go to South India and there's temple of the Vishnu deity Padmanabha. So that's Garbhodakashai Vishnu. His navel is like a lotus. Yeah. You know what the navel is, right? Belly button. Belly button. So from the Lord's belly button, then the first being Lord Brahma came out of there. So Lord Brahma is very unique. He has like a father, you could say, but no mother. He's like one of the only ones that doesn't have a mother. But another one in a similar situation, that from Lord Brahma's body, great sages and all kind of different species appeared, because that's part of the job description of Brahma. Brahma's Vishnu gave him that job to create different species. So in the beginning, populate, yeah, because in the beginning it's just him. So I mean, it just has to come out of him. He doesn't have a wife or anything. It's just coming out of his different parts of his body. So Narada Muni came out, the four Kumaras came out, the Rudras, we read about that recently. Rudra came out when he got angry, when the four Kumaras disobeyed him. Then he got angry, and from in between his eyebrows, the Rudras came out, Lord Shiva, like that. And then these great sages came. There's 10 great sages. 10 great sages. So Bhrigu is one of the original 10 great sages. And then later on, these great sages got married to different daughters of like, for example, Daksha is famous for producing children. He's called a Prajapati. So these Prajapatis also appeared from Lord Brahma. And these Prajapatis, they are really expert at producing children. And that's the very meaning of the name Daksha. Daksha means expert. Expert at what? Chanting mantras? No. at producing children. So that was his expertise. He's good at pumping out kids. So he produced many daughters, and many of those daughters, they were married to these great sages and things like that. And then they produced more offspring, and that way the population of the universe expanded like that. So this is very different than what we hear from our modern schools, that they say it all started from a big bang and there was nothing in the beginning, and just very simple life slowly evolved out of the ocean, eventually into monkeys, and eventually the monkeys turned into humans. So they're the opposite. Here we're starting with the most intelligent beings in the beginning. The most intelligent beings at the beginning. Lord Brahma, most intelligent. And he's got 4 heads, so he's got a lot of intelligence. He has to, because he's got to create the universe, you know. We stress our brains just to create a little house for ourselves or some little facilities. You know, Gulshan would have strained his brain to set up his van back in Newcastle. I got to set up the kitchen in it and deck it out and everything. So Brahma is so intelligent, he can design the whole universe and produce all these different 8,400,000 species and everything like that. So very intelligent. And Bhrigu and that, very intelligent, super intelligent, Narada Muni, like that. And Bhrigu is a close friend of Narada. They're both sages and they're very good friends, and they travel around together and have lots of nice pastimes like that. So yeah, he's a great sage. So we can think of Krishna like that by thinking of, well, this Bhrigu is the energy of Krishna. He's an expansion or manifestation, a manifestation of Krishna. Just like Guru, right? How should we look at a guru? We should look at a guru as this person is a manifestation of Krishna, is one of the energy of Krishna, especially with the energy of, like I said, the opulence of this knowledge, particularly empowered with the opulence of knowledge. The guru is a manifestation of Krishna. He's not Krishna, because there's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita says that you should know that the Guru is a servant of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Das. You should know that I was trying to remember the Bengali, but that the Guru is a manifestation. Yeah, he's a servant of Lord Chaitanya, but he's also a manifestation of Krishna, like that. So Krishna has sent the Guru on his behalf. He's like a representative of Krishna. And Prabhupada gives a nice example of the Guru, saying just like there's a person called a Governor General. So the Governor General is a representative of the Queen of England. Now it's the King of England. So the representative of the Queen or the King, they send to New Zealand or Australia. They don't come directly usually. They send their representative, which is a Governor General. And then whatever you want to give to the King or the Queen, you give that to the Governor General. And whatever you're giving to him, that's not his property. That's the King or the Queen's property. He's just carrying it to them. So you give your gifts to the Governor General from New Zealand or Australia, and they will be returned to the King or the Queen. So that's like the via medium to approach that person like that. So the same, the Guru is the via medium between us, the individual soul, and Krishna, between us and God, like that. And we should see him as the representative of God. Not that he's God, but he's a representative of God. But we treat him with the same respect. And this is another point. The respect you offer to the Governor General should be as good a respect as if the King or the Queen was standing in front of you. You offer the same respect to the Governor General. You bow down to the Governor General. You offer gifts to the Governor General. You offer praise to the Governor General. Everything. So that you treat them just as if it was the King or the Queen standing in front of you. So the same. You treat them with the same respect as you would treat God. Like that. And one time a reporter was criticizing Prabhupada that I see your disciples have brought one Rolls Royce to pick you up from the airport, like the best car, right? And that's a bit of a sticky question, right? Prabhupada in a moment said that this car is not good enough. He said, Krishna is driving a golden chariot. So this isn't good enough. Krishna's chariot is made of gold. This is only some tin and rubber and glass and plastic and stuff. So that was a really hilarious, but is giving a very true element there. We should treat them with the same respect as God. They're God's right hand man. They're God's representative like that. God's energy is working through them, especially like I said, this energy of knowledge. They're filled up with this God's energy in the form of this knowledge like that.
Actually, when you think of it, it's so true, isn't it? Because it's just when you think of a car just made of plastic, rubber, whatever, tin, you realize, yeah, actually it is just worthless, isn't it? I mean, even though you might call it a Rolls Royce or Mercedes Benz or whatever, but when you compare to a gold chariot,
can you hear what she's saying?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's so clever,
Yeah, he just in a second he came out with that answer and completely stunned the reporter, and there was no comeback from the reporter after that. Prabhupada is too good. So full of knowledge, and that's why we offer respect like that. And that's why in the Guru Puja prayers that were after greeting the deities in any ISKCON temple around the world, in the Guru Puja prayers. Oh no, this is actually in Guruvastaka. In the Mangalarati. Sak Sat Haritvena Samasta Sastriya. That all the scriptures say that the Guru is Saksat Hari. Saksat means directly Hari, directly God. But like I said, not God, but you treat him the same as God, and that way directly God. So God is
a God shadow.
Yeah. So God is manifesting to you in the form of his representative, the Guru. Has said that the way that God helps us in this world is internally, God comes as the super soul, and externally, he comes as the spiritual master, the devotee, the pure devotee of the Lord. So from inside and outside, God is always trying to help us. But we're so rebellious in the material world, the souls, that even though he's helping us in every way from inside and outside, and also from the scriptures outside. And sometimes he is incarnating himself, like soon we'll be celebrating Krishna Janmashtami. Actually, Balaram's appearance day is coming up very soon, and the full moon, this coming full moon. And then shortly after that, Krishna Janmashtami. So the Lord is coming to try to help us, and then he leaves us what the Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God, with this opulence of knowledge, is giving us all the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so forth, to help us. And then he sends the Guru to help us, both the initiating Guru and the instructing Gurus, which are many, and then as the super soul. So he's trying to help us in so many ways, but we're so rebellious that no, we know we don't. The souls don't take help. Only the rare soul is humble enough to take help from those ways, but mostly the conditioned souls are inimical and averse to his help, which is very unfortunate. Yes, so Bhrigu is a great sage. And then he says, of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of course, devotees, we mainly chant Hare Krishna, but Om is also the sound manifestation or incarnation of God. God is also non-different than the sound of Om, which is made up of the 3 syllables AUM, like that. This is a spiritual vibration. And it's there's some sections say that this universe manifested from the sound of Om. So it's right there in the beginning of the universe, the sound Om also. And there's another place I remember reading in Bhagavad saying the sound Om came out of Krishna's flute. So yeah, that's a bit inconceivable. But yeah, it's not a material sound, it's a spiritual sound. And of course, you know, in many yoga societies, they're chanting Om, and Om is the main mantra for the Mayavadis, the impersonalists. See, impersonalist Mayavadis, they don't chant Hare Krishna or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya. They're averse to God being a person. But they don't have any problem chanting Om because they don't relate the sound Om with a form, with a personality. They relate Om to just being like energy, like that. And the impersonalists, they see that God is just energy. But here we see that actually these impersonalists are being tricked by Krishna, because here says Krishna's saying, I am Om. So he's caught the Mayavadis impersonalists also. They're thinking they're avoiding Krishna by saying Om. But no, that's also Krishna. Here Krishna's saying, I am Om. Like
But
that. So
in the verse,
Krishna's
where it says Om, in that
what's that?
verse, in Sanskrit, where it says Om.
Aksharam.
Braju,
Aksharam.
Aksharam, it means word. It doesn't say
No,
Om.
no, Aksharam, Pranava. So then it says in the English Pranava, which Pranava isn't really English either. That's also Sanskrit. But yeah, Akshara or Pranava means Om. That is Om. Akshara. So that's in the verse.
Yeah,
Ekam.
I'm looking at Om and I can't see any.
I know. But when it says Akshara or Pranava, that's Om. That's what Om is. Pranava. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so the word Akshara or Pranava, that refers to Om. So it's definitely correct. The English translation is not a mistake. That's correct. So of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. Yagnanam, yagna means sacrifice. So of sacrifices, he is the japa sacrifice, japa yagya. So this japa that we do, chanting our 16 rounds or whatever number of rounds, we can see that as a sacrifice. Yeah, that's a sacrifice. Sacrifice means, you know, we're doing it for the pleasure of the Lord. Sacrifices could be done for a different purpose, but means giving up, doing it for myself. I'm doing it for someone else. Like people, apart from like devotees, everyone's making sacrifice, but they're sacrificing it for different purposes. Like the man is working hard or the woman is working hard in the factory or the office 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. Why? He or she's sacrificing for her family. You know, the art now, there's so many wars going on, right? All the young men, or young women also, in modern society, they also send women off to war, which is not very good. But anyway, young men and women being sent off to war, they're sacrificing for
Their land.
Their country. John just said their country, yeah.
Land,
so they're sacrificing for their country, for their land, yeah, for their countrymen. That's called nationalism, right? That's called nationalism. And so people sacrifice for different reasons. You know, Gandhi made sacrifices for India because he was from India. So he related to that, you know, that I am Indian, I sacrifice for India.
My dad sacrificed 2-year life in the jail for freedom of India. He was a freedom fighter.
Right, yes. So many of them went to jail and did fasting
Yeah.
and so many things, you know, for sacrifice for some cause, some greater good, greater cause. But the greatest cause is to sacrifice for Krishna. And one of the names of Krishna is Yagna. Yagna is a name of God also, like that. So let's look on the third chapter, text 7. It mentions Yagna. No, it doesn't. Where is it? Yagna Tat. Jayanti, you remember that one? Yagna Tat Kamano Natra. Where is it? Oh, yeah, 9. Yep. Third chapter, text 9. Someone can read them.
Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has the performed. Otherwise, work caused bondage in the material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage.
So the principle of yagna is an activity you're doing not for yourself, but you're doing it for someone else. But the real purpose of yagna is to do the activity for the satisfaction of God, not for anybody else. Not for anybody else. The real purpose of sacrifice is to do it for the satisfaction of God, not for anybody else. That is the only thing that's going to free us from bondage of the material world. Every other sacrifice we do, if you just do it for your country, for your family or whatever, and ignore God, then you're going to get bound up in karma. You're going to get bound up in karma. So if you want to get free from karma, which you should, because karma means every action you do is bringing about a reaction. So that's called karma. So it's reactive work. So it's that reactive work that's causing us to take birth again. We're never going to get out of the material world as long as we get reactions to our work.
So when the Arjuna fight, what did he fight for? For Krishna or fight for the truth?
In the end, he fought for Krishna. In the beginning, he didn't want to fight, but he would have got a reaction for that, for not fighting. You see?
So if somebody fighting,
it was gonna satisfy Arjuna to not fight, because it's not very satisfying to kill your relatives. It's not very satisfying to kill your guru and your grandfather and everything. So for his satisfaction, the choice he was going to make is not to fight. But he changed his mind after hearing from Krishna.
When India and Pakistan fight, what do we have to fight for? For the land or ancestors, or we don't fight, or if we do fight, why do we is that for Krishna?
Nowadays it's just all demons fighting demons, and all godless people, and they're all following godless politicians. So the politicians are godless, the public are godless, and it's just a big demoniac affair, and they're all going down into hellish conditions. The leaders are going down into hellish conditions, and who follows these demoniac leaders also going down to hellish conditions.
You have to be protected.
So that this is called adharma. All the modern wars are called adharma, irreligious. But this is called dharma in the beginning. You look at the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. The first verse of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
The word dharma is there.
Kshetra, Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so Gulshan knows this well because he's from Delhi. So it's near to Delhi.
When Arjuna fight, he would not fight if he got 5 villages. He didn't even get the 5 villages. Then he fight. Basically, the Krishna says, give it 5 villages, they will be fine. But Duryodhan doesn't even give it the dot of the needle.
Yeah, needle.
Yeah. So if Duryodhan give the 5 village, and they would not fight, they will be happy after. And So they fight for the land at the end. So do India also.
No, they're not fighting for the land. Because see, everyone needs a livelihood. Everyone
Yes.
needs a way to make a livelihood. So how does a Kshatriya, and they're Kshatriyas, so how does a Kshatriya make a living? He's got to have some land, and he'll ask for some taxes in return for the citizens, giving the citizens protection on that land. So if you take away their land, then they can't live. They can't live.
So if Duryodhana gives a 5 village, they will not fight. Is that correct?
Correct.
So he didn't give the 5 village, and they fight. So obviously they fight.
But even then, even after all that happening, and they're not even getting the land, still Arjuna. So Arjuna was prepared to become like a sannyasi, just not even be a Kshatriya anymore, just go and live in the forest and eat nuts and berries. But Krishna wasn't happy with that. No, Krishna wanted them to be. And actually, this was Krishna's master plan, because this is like the Kali Yuga is about to begin, to wipe out all these demoniac Kshatriyas. At this time, the Kshatriyas around the world had become demoniac. Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, a lot of these kings had become demoniac. So Krishna, his plan was to assemble them all together in one place, etc., and wipe them all out, and then start with a clean slate. And that clean slate was after this was over. Yudhisthira is such a good king, such a virtuous religious king, and it was like heaven on earth. It was heaven on earth after that for quite some time, until they retired, and then Parikshit took over, and he did a good job too. And then slowly Kali Yuga came in. But yeah, that was all Krishna's plan. That was all Krishna's plan. Yeah. Krishna's ultimate plan is to bring us back to Godhead. So when things go off track, then he has to bring it back on track.
So it's everything is Krishna's plan.
Not everything is Krishna's plan.
Okay.
Actually, the reason why we're suffering is because of going away from Krishna's plan, like that. So, and the suffering is also there in Krishna's plan, as the purpose of the suffering is to make us humble, so that we come back to Krishna's plan and listen to the Guru, you know. When we become proud, we don't hear from the spiritual master, we don't hear from the scriptures, and we become arrogant and everything. And then suffering is there to make us humble again, so that we come back to Krishna's plan. So ultimately, you know, everything is within Krishna. But this forgetfulness of Krishna, which was what we call Maya, is not a very good situation for the soul to be in this forgetfulness of Krishna. There's so many miserable conditions, and the real happiness of the soul is not manifested. Actually, while the soul is in the material world going from one body to another, the soul is like in a sleeping state, and just the modes of nature are working, the tamagun, rajagun, and sattvagun, and the soul is just like almost unconscious like that. Only when we first come to meet the devotees, come in touch with the devotees in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and Prasadam and so forth, does the soul actually start to awaken. If that's not correct, then why is it that Lord Chaitanya was going from village to village 500 years ago, early in the morning, singing
In
Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago.
In order to awakening, sleep is must.
Yeah, if you're talking about awakening someone, means they were asleep. So that's my point, was the soul is like asleep, and just the Krishna, the super soul, is making everything happen with the body. It seems like it's all alive.
If the sun never ends, you're never going to find out if there is any night exist. If sun never sets, you don't know what's the night. What are you talking about? So in order to see the sun, we have to go through the night no matter what. Is that true?
No, because
You can't
I mean, there are
just
souls in the spiritual world that have never experienced the misery of the material world. Does that mean they
just
can't be truly blissful? No, they
just
can. You can
story.
be just only bliss. It can be just only bliss. You don't, you know, you're walking on the beach, on Bondi Beach. Do you need to have someone come and hit you on the head with a hammer for you to enjoy the day there? You don't. You
But
don't.
in order to feel that Bondi Beach waves,
Yeah.
you don't feel if you're born there. You don't even see the taste of it. If you're born in the woods, then you will feel, yes, there is a waves. But if you're born on the waves, then what's awakening? You already wake. In order to wake, you have to sleep. Otherwise, there's no awakening.
No, my point about that was that until we come to Krishna consciousness, the soul is like sleeping.
Yeah. It
And
was
then when that's a reawakened, then the soul actually comes awake. Before that, it's just the modes of material nature just
sleeping was
working.
a part of the journey as well then.
And in the material world, yeah, but we don't have to be in the material world. But yeah, if you're in the material world, if you're in
It's
the
like a
material world.
two-sided coin. You cannot separate for sleeping and awakening. It's a two-sided of the coin. You cannot separate. You
Yeah, I
only
mean, that's
wake
the
the
nature
person
of the
sleep.
material world. There's dualities there. But the
Even
whole
material
purpose
world,
of
even
Krishna
spiritual world,
consciousness,
even
what's that?
spiritual world as well. Even spiritual world, if you're awakening, you
Yeah.
only wake someone who sleeps. You can't wake the awake
No,
person.
no. You can't compare this sleeping here with that sleeping there. In the spiritual world, there is sleeping, but that's yoga nidra. They're fully Krishna conscious while they're asleep. There's no ignorance. There's no ignorance there. That's just they're Krishna conscious while their body is lying down. You know. So there's no duality there in terms of there's some time when you're forgetful of Krishna and some time that you're remembering Krishna. There
What
it's continuous.
so what kind of awakening we talking in this world? Is it the
Spiritual
material
awakening.
spiritual awakening or material awakening?
Spiritual awakening.
If it's
Spiritual awakening.
spiritual awakening, it must be in the spiritual world then. In the material world, how can you be spiritual
No.
awakening?
No. Here people are spiritually asleep. So then they need to be spiritually awakened like that. You have physically asleep and physically awake, but we're talking about spiritually asleep and spiritually awake. And that is why you have Krishna coming, and that's why you have the scriptures, and that's why you have the Guru, and that's why Prabhupada left India and went to the West to spiritually awaken like that. So that is, and the human form of life is the only form of life that can become spiritually awakened. If you're the soul in a dog or the soul in a cockroach or the soul in a bird or a fly, or then very almost impossible to become spiritually awakened. There are rare exceptions, but mainly it's only in the human form of life do we have the very special body which has a more highly developed intelligence potential that we can become spiritually awakened. You know. So Krishna is very clever. So even he can catch the impersonalists when they are chanting Om, because that Om is non-different from him. So even the impersonalists get purified. And then we're talking about sacrifices. So yeah, why do we chant Hare Krishna? It should be done as in the mood of sacrifice. We're chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. And that brings up an important point, like, oh, I'm not really enjoying chanting my japa at the moment. Well, that's not why you should be chanting japa anyway. It's not for you to enjoy. It's for Krishna to enjoy. We should think we're chanting for Krishna to enjoy. Oh, I'm not really enjoying these classes on Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or... No, but it's not meant for you to enjoy. It's meant for you're doing it for the enjoyment of Krishna. And the idea is when Krishna enjoys your chanting japa or going to class or whatever it is, going on Harinam, distributing books, or whatever you're doing, then when Krishna enjoys that activity, then when he's pleased, then you will become pleased. So that's the whole cycle. So it's not that, oh, I'm doing it for Krishna, then I'm going to be miserable, I'm going to be unhappy all the time. No, but the idea is if somehow you can achieve that Krishna actually does become pleased by whatever service you're doing, then the end result should be, then you will become happy. And the example is, like if you water the root of a tree, then automatically the branches and the leaves and the flowers and the fruits are going to get nourished, right? So Krishna is like the root of the tree. Or the other example, if you put food in the stomach, that's going to go to the hands and the legs and your head and all the parts, right? So so Krishna is like the stomach or like the root. He's the source of all the energy. So if you just give it to him, and that's the sacrifice, that process of giving it to the root, giving it to the stomach, and then it gets distributed everywhere. Like that, so that if Krishna is satisfied, then everyone can be satisfied. That is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. That is the foundation of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That if you just work to satisfy Krishna, then everyone can be satisfied. So does it mean we just love Krishna? We don't like our families, do we? We don't like our country, do we? It's not like that. We're the ones that really like our family and really like our country. We're doing the best work for our family and our country and so forth just by trying to please Krishna, as in the best interest of everybody else too. So we're actually, just by pleasing Krishna, we're doing welfare automatically, the best welfare activity for the animals and the birds and the plants and the fish and the demigods and the demons and family and nations and everything like that. So just by one activity, everything is getting sorted out. So that's the most intelligent way to work. But if we ignore God and just try to please Tom, Dick, and Harry, then it's not going to work. It's like you're putting water on the leaves. Oh, I'm going to put water on this leaf and then that leaf. Oh, I'm going to put food in my hand and put food on my leg and put food in my ear, put food in my nose. No, you have to put it in the stomach, from the mouth into the stomach, like that. Prabhupada said like that, just because there's many holes in the body, does that mean you can just put food in your other holes? No, food only goes in one hole. Oh, it could go in any hole, right? I just stick it in my ear, stick it up my bum. Not like that. But like Prabhupada said, that is a diseased condition, because sometimes, isn't it? They do that in the hospital. They put a pipe up through your backside, but that's not the normal condition, to be fed through your anus like that. The normal condition is to put it in the mouth. So this is the most effective way to satisfy everything, is just by sacrificing for God like that. So that's a very foundational point of Krishna consciousness, to sacrifice for the pleasure of God. But if you're gonna try to please God, what does that mean? You have to know. If you're going to sacrifice, do something for the satisfaction of God, then what do you need
He
to be able
wants.
We
Huh?
need, what he
Yeah.
likes and what he wants.
Yep. You have to know what he likes, and to know what he likes, what do you have to know?
It's
To know something about him.
Yeah, you have to know how do you do something to satisfy God if you don't know who God is? You don't know who God is. You don't know what he likes. So you want to know what he likes, then you have to know who he is, because every different person likes something different, right? Gulshan likes gulab jamuns, but someone else likes samosas.
I haven't had for 2 months.
Gulshan must be suffering
India,
there. He hasn't
I'm
got a
gonna eat
gulab for
that
2
1
months.
kilo of gulab jamun when I go to India.
Yeah.
And just
You're going to pig out on gulab jamuns when you go to India. Yeah.
I'm satisfying Krishna inside me, eating 1 kilo of jamun.
And that is the deficiency in almost every other process except for in Krishna consciousness, that they don't know who God is. Therefore, how can they truly satisfy him? How can they truly satisfy him? They don't know who he is. They don't know who he is, so they don't know what his name is. They don't know what he looks like. Prabhupada said, we know what God's name is. We know what he looks like. We know where he lives. We know who his friends are. We know how he dresses. So it means there's so much detailed information, what's the purpose of that is finding out how we can best satisfy him, finding out what he actually wants. Because if you give God something that he doesn't want, is that a good sacrifice? No. It's going to be rejected like that. So, and then the final one of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So this is indicating that the Himalayas is very heavy. Very heavy. Why does it say, people might take it for granted that a mountain it can't be moved. But no, some mountains can be moved. Like we know in the Bhagavatam, the demigods and the demons, they lifted up one mountain called Mandara, which was made of gold. I bet everyone wishes they could find out where that one is, but it'd be very valuable. So they lifted up this mountain of gold called Mandara, and they used it to churn the ocean of milk. And somewhere in the universe, and obviously not here, in another place in the universe, there's oceans of milk. Just like here we have saltwater ocean, but there's different kinds of oceans in the universe. Somewhere in the universe there's a sweetwater ocean. Another place there's an ocean of liquor. Another place is an ocean of ghee, like that. Gulshan would like that one. A lot of gulabs there in the ocean of ghee.
Just thinking that even Hanuman carrying that one of the mountain too.
Yeah, he carried a mountain too. So we can't take it for granted that a mountain means you can't move it. No, some mountains can be moved, but Himalayas can't be moved. It's very heavy. So
Not
it means
today,
it's like the
but in the
greatest.
future it can be if Krishna wants it. It can't be.
But I think it
Yeah,
will
well, I
cause
mean,
a lot of problem for us. It might be a catastrophe.
Well, it's his problem, Krishna's problem, not mine.
yeah. So it's indicating that the Himalayas is the greatest of mountains, and it is famous as the greatest of mountains. And that.
He didn't mention the Kailash. Kailash was a mountain of where Lord Shiva residing.
Kailash is now part of the Chinese territory, isn't it? They yeah. You have to have a special pass to go to Kailash.
You can't even
Because
go to Kailash. Kailash, on top of the Kailash, there is no birds, no aeroplane, nothing. You can't climb there because
But
it's off limits. Off limits.
Off limit, you go on, man.
Anyone that's tried to climb it has either died or gone crazy.
Same like a
They've either died or gone crazy.
Nidhi, if you stay in night time, next morning you can able to talk or die or blind or something like that. Yeah. So in Nidhi one, they says everybody out by the time sun goes down, and then everybody has to be out. Nobody. Some people that try to hide behind their bushes and all. Next morning they can't talk anyone. Or some
who
of
is
them
that? Nidhi?
Nidhi one in Vrindavan.
In Vrindavan, there's one particular forest.
Ras Leela every night.
There's Rasa Leela going on at night time. So
everything. Next morning, half the laddu been eaten, and then the bed and everything is been, because they do, Krishna do every night Ras Leela over there with the gopis till today. You're not allowed to stay there. Once you look at it, you're gone. You cannot describe. Either you get complete deaf and dumb or blind, or you might be die. A lot of people died, and then they are security guard. They says, seriously, nobody stay overnight here. Otherwise, you will not able to live.
See you later, guys.
Yes. Alligator, see you later, Terminator, whatever. Same Kailash, but it's Himalayas. Himalayas people can go Mount Everest. Some there, Hillary from your country when they're first person, New Zealand. But he went there with the porter called Tenzing.
Yeah, Tenzing.
And he mentioned that in that as well book. Even if he doesn't mention, he was a porter. He don't even have any claim whatsoever because he was just a porter. But he said, no, you bring me here, I have to mention your name. So he
Nice.
said, you know, we came here, world tallest mountain, Mount Everest. Tenzing says, really? He's the world tallest? He said, yes. And then you know what he said? He said, I've been there with my friends few times. He said,
Oh yeah,
really?
yeah. My uncle,
That's
I've
what I was
met
gonna
Tenzing.
say.
From him, it
He
was
my
fun.
yeah.
And they will carry double the weight on the back and then faster than you go. I don't know where
That's
their
right.
lungs made of. And they smoke as well. And what their lungs made of? I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
They have a body
Yeah,
suitable for that environment. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Definitely.
They're very
I know our
honest.
time's up, but because we
Okay.
started a bit late, let's finish the purport. It's not very long. I mean, let's read the purport.
You want me to?
Deepa, do you want to read the
Mm.
purport?
Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several suns for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among the suns, Virgu is the most powerful stage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, Omkaras represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question mended, but in the sacrifice, hang on, what am I reading? There's no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the world is a representation of Krishna. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent Krishna. They also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus, the Himalayas are greater than Meru. Meru is movable?
Yes. Only the spiritual people can see. Meru is in this planet, but only spiritual people can see. You can't see, Deepa. I can't see. Only Prabhupada can see. Yes, it's there. Yeah, very deep.
So here we're getting an idea why these particular in a category, why this particular one is chosen in a category, because it's the greatest in the category. Like in the category of sacrifices, there's many kinds of sacrifices, like it was mentioned, animal sacrifices. But of all the sacrifices, chanting of Hare Krishna is the best. And it's mentioned because like there's no violence in this sacrifice, whereas like in obviously animal sacrifices, there is some violence there. And like in the category of mountains, there's so many mountains, right? So every country has so many mountains, but the best of all mountains is the Himalayas. So we can remember the best of in any category, that we can take that as representative of Krishna, like that, the best of everything. Actually, everything is the energy of Krishna. There's nothing that's not connected with Krishna. But this is something that can stick in our mind, is just pick out the best of every category, like that. So it's not that some other mountain is not Krishna, or some other sacrifice is not Krishna, but everything is coming from Krishna. As we read in 10th chapter just earlier, text 8, Krishna says, I am the source of the spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So that's the first of the seed verses, 10.8. So Krishna says there, he's the source of everything. So he's the source of every mountain and every animal and every fish and every flower and everything. However, just to help stick in our mind, we can just pick out the best in any category. You know, like in one of them, he says of aquatics, that means like fish, I am the shark. Does that mean Krishna's energy is not a whale? No, a whale, a whale is Krishna's energy. But the shark is like in everyone's mind, right? Because it's very powerful and very strong and everything like that. So fast and like that. And they make movies about sharks and stuff like that. And so, you know, that's something that can stick in our mind like that. So we pick out the best in any category, pick out the best, and that's something that can remind us of Krishna like that. And that's why we should never also get sucked into just diverting our time and chanting other mantras also, because the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the best sacrifice, the best of all. That's why it's called Maha Mantra. It's the greatest of all mantras. So don't get diverted and I think I'll chant Om Namo Shivaya or Jai Baba Ram or something, or make up something, or Shiva Om Kali Mata, you know, Durga Hari Bolo or something. You know, people chant so many things, but actually this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the best like that, the most effective of sacrifices like that. And sacrifice means, you know, we're giving up something to do something else. That's a sacrifice, right? Like you've sacrificed your time now to attend the soul searching session. You could have been doing something else, spent time with your family, or Gulshan could be on his bicycle going to see one temple, but he's sacrificed. So sacrifice means you're giving up something to do something else.
For me, I say it's an investment of time. I don't call it a sacrifice.
Even call sacrifice or investment.
Investment of time.
Not even investment. It's Krishna's time given to Krishna.
Yeah, but I'm investing the time where it needs to,
Well,
most
when you
highly.
When you say that means yours. So that's not yours. Krishna gave it a time and you invest it.
Yeah, but the Krishna's time, I can waste it, but I don't waste it. I invest it in something that is
Krishna's time
the highest return. There you go.
Yes.
Interestingly, there's a Meru mountain in Tanzania as well, and it's a volcano.
Okay.
But
that's not the.
No. I mean, I'm just saying that there is a lot of Mount Merus mentioned everywhere, and and the Buddhists consider Mount Meru as the Sumeru, they call it, and it's considered their most important. What was I going to say? So the Buddhist universe actually revolves around this Mount Meru.
Which is correct, which is the same as our Vedic. So you can see originally all the cultures come from the same place.
Even in the Jains also believe Mount Meru. But I couldn't see why it's called movable. That's what I was looking for. But there are mountains which are considered movable, no? I mean, somewhere in the Bhagavatam it's mentioned, movable and non-movable.
Well, actually, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam previously, some mountains could fly. They had wings. And Indra, with his Vajra, with his thunderbolt, would cut the wings off the mountains and they would come crashing down, and obviously not moving after that without their wings. Of course, inconceivable to us. We haven't experienced that. Has anyone seen a mountain flying around with wings? No, we haven't seen. But does that mean it doesn't exist? No, it doesn't, because there's a lot of things. And like I said, we can't even see our own soul, like that. So there's a lot of things we can't see, but we accept the authority of the Vedas. But yeah, Indra has grounded all the mountains, and but yeah, so it is possible one way or another, definitely, for mountains to move, whether it's the demigods and demons lifting it up and moving it somewhere or like that. Oh yeah, Himalayas is very great. So yeah, thank you for sacrificing your time or investing your time in the soul searching.
It's not a sacrifice.
But
Thank
this
you for
point,
it.
that's what I was going to make. This point of sacrifice, it's really love. Because
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
would you give up something to do something else? Because you love that. You know, why would you give up, sacrifice your time to work for your family? Because you love your family. Why would you sacrifice your life for your country? Because you love your country. Like that. You know, so it's really, sacrifice is also, it can see it in a very positive way. It's really indicating love is there.
Yeah.
You know, so say, oh, I don't really enjoy chanting my japa so much, but no, actually, if you're doing it, that does indicate some love. Because why are you sacrificing an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day, or whatever it is, half an hour if you're only chanting a few rounds even? You know, why would you sacrifice half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours of your time if there wasn't some love there? There must be. What's that?
Because the Prabhupada said that's why.
Yeah, well, then there's some love for Prabhupada. Okay, but there's still, you haven't got away, because then you must have some love for Prabhupada.
Yes,
Then
definitely.
even though I find this really austere, you know, chanting japa or whatever like that, but, you know, because I have love for Prabhupada, then I'll just do it,
Prabhupada
even though I don't really like it. But because Prabhupada says you do it,
Yeah.
then I'm doing it. So that's, it's nice. It's actually indicating some love is there.
Yes.
Like that. And we'll get the best investment on return if we do that.
It's up to
That's
Krishna.
return on investment.
They call it ROI, right? ROI.
That's correct. ROI, return on investment.
So now we're talking like an accountant.
No.
Return on investment.
Common
Yeah, it is.
knowledge.
Krishna consciousness is the best return on investment. Like I said, watering the root of the tree, food in the stomach, that's the best return on investment. Everything is going to get the benefit. Everything is going to get the benefit.
Yeah.
Okay, so have fun,
Yep.
Gulshan, going to Angkor Wat and all the temples.
Thank you.
Then he's going to be making his way to India soon and eating lots of gulab jamuns to make up for the last 2 months.
It's a one festival is called the Rakhi. Rakhi, you know, when the sisters, they put the, you know, the wristband on the brother.